once was a man who wanted to learn the secret of a peaceful life. He heard about this wise sage who knew the secret. One morning, he tied up his shoes nice and tight and he started walking. He walked miles and miles to find this sage. Over the day, he started to get grumpier and grumpier, mumbling about, this is such a far walk. I'm so tired, so thirsty. And every single person who passed him by, he just ignored because he was so irritated. Once he got to where the sage lived, there was a long line waiting to see the sage. He had been standing there for about an hour. Someone came in and walked right in front of him in line. He immediately exploded at this person saying, "Can't you see that I've been waiting for hours to see this sage? I tied my shoes up nice and tight this morning and I walked all day to see the sage. And now you come in here and step in front of me. What's wrong with you?" Everyone around looked at him, at the cause of the ruckus, even the sage, who was almost ready to see him. The sage quietly turned towards the man, got up out of his chair and walked slowly towards him, looked him in the eye and said, "You want to know the secret to a peaceful life?" The man said, "Yes, that's why I came here. That's why I tied my shoes nice and tight and walked all day to come and see you and ask you that question." The sage looked knowingly down at the man's feet and he said, "The secret to a peaceful life is to loosen your shoes. So loosen your shoes." The man untied his shoes, felt all the pressure of the day flowing out, all of that blood releasing and starting to circulate in his body again, and he felt more at peace. Most of us are walking around with really tight shoes, and we don't know it. And it's so uncomfortable for us to have those shoes so tight and so controlled in our lives that we feel like we want to explode at the person who walks in front of us in line. We feel like we want to ignore the people on the street who are saying hello to us because our grips on our world and on our life are so tied tight. You see, the problem that we face in society with humans today is that we're afraid to feel like we are not in control of a situation. That's why we tie our laces up so tight. That's why we have such a tight grip on each other in the world, on ourselves, when really it's not about not being in control. It's about feeling the physical sensation that's causing us to feel uncomfortable in the first place and wanting to then tie up our shoelaces nice and tight so that we can feel in control. The rub of this, really, though, is that feeling like we're not in control is just a story. Feeling like we're not in control is just something that our mind has created around that physical sensation that's uncomfortable to make us feel like we have some semblance of certainty in the world around us. But what is really needed is to feel the physical sensations of discomfort, that tightness in our feet, that pounding of blood, that blister. These things are just physical sensations we get so uptight about that we explode sideways at people, yell at them, we ignore them, and in worst case scenario, violence erupts. We see it in our world and in our news every single day. What's needed is to get to the root of that desire for control, to realize that what we're experiencing really is just a physical sensation. It's really just our laces being too damn tight. We need to first notice that the laces are too tight, that we are in discomfort. And then one by one, untie the knots, loosen the shoes. Start to realize that the physical sensation of discomfort is not something that we need to react to by coming out sideways at somebody else. And it doesn't have any meaning at all beyond your shoes are too tight. This is important for us because when we can loosen our shoes, we can become people who act in ways that are aligned with the way that we actually want to act. When we are our best selves, we don't act in ways that dishonor other people or ourselves. We don't act in ways that we later feel guilty about or ashamed of because we don't know why we did them. We can realize that we're feeling uncomfortable and irritable because we're trying to control a situation that feels uncomfortable and not in control. And so we do stupid shit to feel like we are more in control rather than getting to the root cause, which is our shoelaces. And guess what? We have all the control in the world to loosen our own shoelaces. If this is something that feels like it's even got a glimmer of perspective in it for you that you want to follow so that you can learn how to loosen your own shoes so you don't have to explode, so you don't have to react, so you don't have to be taking actions that you look back on later and say, I don't know why I did that and I feel ashamed, I feel guilty, or like you have to defend yourself even though you know in your heart that it's not aligned with the way that you like to live in this world. If this new path of being able to identify that your shoes are too tight and then subsequently loosen your shoes feels like it's something that you're interested in, I'm offering free talks and workshops every single month for us to identify what's going on and to see how we can actually loosen our shoes in the world that we live in today and what it does for us as well as others around us. If you're curious, go to the link below this video and join our next live masterclass. They're totally free because we need to learn to loosen our damn shoes. This is so important to our world, to society, and the future of humanity. I'm offering these for free because we need to learn how to do it. It is as simple as noticing that we're uncomfortable in our physical body and that our shoes need to be loosened. And once we can do that, we can have all the peace in the world. But if we just keep tying our shoes up nice and tight and holding on to this semblance of control or this illusion of having control in the world, we're never going to get there, and we're going to keep exploding and causing the same issues that we see in our world again and again. So join me for our next live transmission. It is going to be deeply moving and deeply important for us all to learn how to do this. I can't wait to see you at the edge of the unknown.